Here in the second block of the Cultural Hall, as we get right into articles of news, hit it, Peter, and away we go. Now, this whole block of news is going to be happy or happy adjacent news. And who is the happiest person in the Cultural Hall? Not Mr. Mayor, but that's who we could get. Welcome, Andrew.
What do you mean? I'm happy. I'm mostly
would
happy.
you say you're the happiest of all the co-hosts of the Cultural Hall? I wouldn't say that.
No, I would. I would. I'd say that's Megan.
Yeah, Megan maybe, or Janae. Janae.
Janae. Yeah. I mean, totally. And and in her own way, Annette is pretty happy too. So maybe I'm the lowest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm below you.
Yeah, you're pretty
loathsome, pretty sad.
You're pretty sad.
Bottom
but
of the
not
heap.
the bottom of the heap. Yep, that's right.
Yep. So we get right into all the news. I sent you several happy stories and said, you go ahead and pick which ones. And you're like, I'm on it. And then I never heard.
I never sent a setback.
Go ahead and you take whatever one you would like to do first, and we'll just go back and forth till we make it through the week's worth of happy news.
I'll take a homegrown one here.
All right.
So the Missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is the Mormon church, I guess a lot of people call us. That's what this podcast is about. Anyway, the Missionaries in Texas, the Houston East Mission, helped pack more than 10,000 meals for children in need during a Thanksgiving service project. The meals were distributed by Kid Meals, a nonprofit organization that delivers free, healthy food to preschool-age children living in poverty. I just love this. Part of me wanted to know, these missionaries are there trying to feed the hungry more than just, giving out the bread of life. I'm wondering did they sneak in Book of Mormons into all the packages?
I would say no, because can you imagine how much trouble the church would get in if they're sneaking in?
Imagine. I'll tell you though, there's missionaries from my mission that I wouldn't put that past them.
Sure. Those are the same missionaries that, like in my mission, when we're like, hey, can we use your restroom? They'd go in, we'd use the restroom and we'd leave a tract on the back of the toilet or something like that.
Yeah.
And just be like, guys, this is not. They were being kind to let us use their toilet. Yeah. This wasn't a way to leave a Book of Mormon.
And I can't imagine any of those really working. Everyone's trying to do the whole, you ever see the movie How Rare Is Possession?
Of course.
Yeah. That, where he finds the Book of Mormon without the title page. Had no cover. And he taught that for all of his life. And he finally joined it. That's what they're trying to hope. And truthfully, though it's an exception, not a rule.
Yes, but to that point, I'm sure that a time someone looked at the tract and went, "Okay, all right, I'll read this. I'll check this out." I'm sure a time. Maybe. Unfortunately, the thousands of other times where people were offended that someone came into their home and placed that thing without their permission just because they were trying to be kind, I don't think it weighs out exactly. But we sometimes focus on, unfortunately, the one and feel like we're focusing on the one. Whereas it's not really focusing on the one.
In Australia, the big thing was, can I get a glass of water? And then to try to keep them at the door to keep them talking. Which, we drink a glass of water at every door for the last 5 doors. But,
that was.
I feel like if you have to move down to those kinds of things, you're not really doing your work as a missionary. You're just.
That was really a thing that was like taught for you guys to do?
No.
Oh,
it just was. It was. Not taught, but the missionaries taught each other.
Yeah. No, man, if I could go back. Hi, we're sharing a message. We're not interested. Great. Next door.
Move on. By the end of my mission, I was basically doing that, but then I took it a little too far. Like I would do things like, well, they have incense outside of the house. They're Buddhist. I won't even talk to them. I don't need to go.
So then you started to rule people out.
Yeah, I started to do that kind of stuff, but I was just more trying to be efficient. In my brain,
Mr. Mayor.
As an adult, I don't believe that at all. But that's what my brain thought back then.
Sure. Well,
I spend the time.
I'll piggyback onto that. Missionaries at the Provo MTC, in connection with Hunger Fight, they put together 409,248 meals. And those are going to be distributed throughout Utah by the Utah Food Bank, said President Kevin Calderwood, president of the Provo Missionary Training Center. They do a huge thing there at the Provo MTC. I think it was Elder Renland, I want to say, that came in, did a big sort of devotional for the folks, the missionaries that are, likely their first time away from home. Did the big thing, and then it was Elder Rasband, devotional message from Elder Rasband, and then they put together all these meals. And the Hunger Fight, they do this thing called Feed the Backpacks, which is because kids, especially here in Utah, they have a program where you get food throughout the week when you go to school, right? You can go and get breakfast before school, and then you get lunch at school. And so then feasibly, the thought is hopefully parents can be able to provide dinner. Well, they Feed the Backpacks is a program where each student gets a backpack, and then on Friday, when you leave school, you get food in that backpack that will sustain you throughout the weekend. And so that's what they stuffed there.
That's a great initiative.
In Provo. Cool. It's a super cool thing. I love that they do that kind of stuff.
I love Christmas season because you get a lot of these kinds of stories, right?
Yeah, the opportunity to serve. Do you and your spouse do anything service oriented around the holidays?
Oh, we do. We always take part in the whole paying for someone's Christmas. Like, they have a Christmas tree at our ward, and you don't know who it is. You take it, and they say we have a kid that's this age and a kid that's this age.
And they need like pajamas, and they need like
and
we'll
definitely do that. And then there's always something less formal that we'll do. It's very much part of it. And then one of my favorite Christmases, and I haven't done this for a while because I want too many things for myself. Mm-hmm. But one of my favorite Christmases was I said to Christy, I'm like, hey, let's get our budget done. And when we got figured out what a budget for each person was, okay, here's what we're going to spend for Christmas. I said, okay, I take that budget, and I want to use all that budget towards helping other people. And so that was my Christmas gift that year. It was literally cool. No Christmas. And I did that multiple times, and I loved it, but I haven't done it for a few years just
because you want
I like stuff. I like stuff.
Sure.
But anyway, it was really and another thing we did one year was we each said, hey, here's $50. We gave each other $50. I think it was $50. We'll just say $50 because I can't remember what.
Sure.
And the idea was find someone who needed it and who we could give to, and you had till Christmas Eve. So it was like started on December 15th. And I remember it ended up being one of those really busy years. And I was like, Christmas Eve, I'm like praying I need to find someone, because I didn't want to just like, here you go, hand it to someone. I needed to find someone. Yeah. Find someone who really needed it, or I kind of wanted to make sure that it got to the right hands. And I was directed to it, and I finally was led to a family in the ward. And anyway, it was a really great experience. Partly because some of it was that I couldn't find anyone. Some of it was I was really busy and everything else. But I'm like, so I was down to the wire, nearly in tears, right, trying to find someone. And it was a really good Christmas Eve that way. That's
cool.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that kind of thing. So I have made the decision in the last little bit that whenever like the stake or ward needs something, hey, we need donations for, I've just decided I'm going to start doing it. I used to be like, I don't know, and then I have to, but like they did, we need canned corn and beans and gravy packets for Thanksgiving. And I just was like, I'd go to the grocery store. Yeah. I can do that.
It's usually not that much extra to do. Like you're already going to grocery store for something. Just like, okay, take that and add it to my list. And, it's usually small things that a bunch of small things together can bring it together. I think, there's 3 books I read every year. I prompted
the Book of Mormon. The Bible. Nope. What's the third one?
No, every Christmas. It's actually, I got this from President.
He doesn't
Monson.
read the Book of Mormon from Thanksgiving to December. Got it. That's fine.
No, but Christmas choice. Carol.
Okay.
Christmas Carol is a big one.
Okay.
Everyone, but the other one, Luke 2 is the other one. Of course, everyone reads that.
Sure.
But then the last one is a book called The Mansion by, I think it's O. Henry, but I could be wrong on that. But anyway, or it's Henry Van Dyke. It's either O. Henry or Henry Van Dyke. One of those.
It's either a candy bar or.
Anyway, so I just reread it, and if you haven't read that, read that this year, because the idea of giving to get the reward, which there is a value. That's a story about that. It's like the opposite character to Scrooge, which is why it's nice to have kind of both.
Henry Van Dyke.
Henry Van Dyke.
You can get it
John
used on
Whiteman
eBay for $4.91 right now.
It's a wonderful book. Get it on Kindle, get it on Amazon. It's really good. John Whiteman is like the opposite to Scrooge. He gives. He's really wealthy, and he does give, but he only gives when it's of value to him. Like, he'll put his name on a wing of a hospital, or but it only gets the value in return.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not getting no. That's just the setup.
Ending?
No. The ending is one of the. It's akin to A Christmas Carol. And
spoil it.
I'm not giving
three ghosts come to.
Three ghosts do not come. But
great. Now you spoiled it. I didn't know that three ghosts were coming, and now you've spoiled it.
Yeah, three ghosts do come. Now I've spoiled it again. Anyway, read that book, and this idea of giving for the benefit of giving and not for the reward of other people knowing and stuff is the theme of the book. It really always sets the tone for my Christmas season each year.
Okay. All right. I'll take that recommendation. People can find the link to that in the show notes. I'm going to talk about the First Presidency message, and then you are going to talk about all the ways that people can enjoy Christmas at Temple Square. So
okay,
that's where we're going.
Great.
The First Presidency message may be my favorite thing. Now, here, admittedly, ever since President Monson passed, I don't think I've watched the First Presidency message, because I really loved, and people will resonate with this, how President Monson was a storyteller, and I really loved he
was so good at that.
The Christmas stories that he would tell. But President Nelson, President Oaks, and President Eyring on the 3rd of December, it's at 6 p.m. You can see it on the BYU TV. You can see it on satellite. You can watch it online on the church's YouTube. You can listen to it on the radio in some places. You can find it literally everywhere, or you could attend in person. They, along with the Tabernacle Choir and the orchestra at Temple Square, do a Christmas devotional. It usually ends up being about an hour long, and you can actually read what their message is right now online, but it's great to be able to see this. And for me, it is what certifiably like kicks off the holiday season. Sort of Thanksgiving does it, then we get a little bit of snow, and that's it. But it isn't really until the First Presidency's Christmas devotional that I go, okay, we're in the holiday season, and it's great. And the best part is it's a great time that if you have those in your life that maybe aren't members of the church, or they aren't like, maybe they're a little inactive, or maybe it's not their jam right now, or maybe they made different, like it's enough like Christ enough that you're like, oh, this is Christmas, but it's not like, take this and here's a jam. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not so heavy-handed. It's always really great. The messages and the music is always so phenomenal. So that's coming.
It's one of my favorite things every year. And lately I've had to miss it live. I always have to watch it back, because every year we have an interfaith Christmas choir that I'm part of. And so I will be there for it live, but I'll be watching it later the same evening.
So that's the 3rd of December, and people can check that out. All right, what's going on Temple Square? It's still under construction, so what can I enjoy this holiday season?
You can't do anything. It's all under construction. You can't go there at all.
Spoiler.
So they didn't have a formal lighting ceremony, but there still is lights. So you can go and you can see some lights. You can see, and they're kind of trying to step up some of the other things going on. Like, for instance, they're having these Temple Square concerts. So one was on the 24th, right? And that was already passed, so I won't go into that. You can look that up if you want to. But they're having daily concerts by local choirs. So 40-minute performances are open to the public from the 25th, which was yesterday, to December 23rd. So, and they're at places like the City Creek Center out by the Giving Machines. By the way, I'm going to try to get there this year. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in Utah we get there on the 14th. Great. And leave on the 18th. So
I'll meet you at a Giving Machine, and we'll buy a goat together.
We'll buy that. Let's do that. Let's buy a goat.
I just said it.
Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna buy a goat. There some of the other places you can go, the conference center lobby. That's where you can see some of these choirs, the conference, the Church History Museum auditorium, and of course the Tabernacle. There's going to be so all these midday concerts are from 12:45 to 1:30. So if you want to go there,
and those are the ones in the Tabernacle, and you can actually watch those daily. You can watch the whole thing. They're going to be live streamed from the Tabernacle daily.
That's good. On YouTube?
I don't think it's weekends. I think it's just Monday through Friday, 12:45 to 1:30 p.m. It's a lot of like the high schools in Utah. They have a lot of community choirs. It's not necessarily all LDS, obviously, because it's...
I remember doing that when we were in high school. We always loved that, going to sing on Temple Square.
So you can infuse the Christmas spirit through music, through those things.
If you are interested in focusing on traditions around the world, the Church History Museum, beginning November 20th, which was again already going on in the past, but we just finished Christmas in North America. That ended yesterday, but they are going to be focusing on different worldwide traditions. So December 27th to the 2nd is Christmas in Central and South America. If you want to go learn about that. December 4th through the 9th is Christmas in Asia and the Pacific Islands. 11th through 16th is Christmas in Africa and the Mediterranean. 18th through 23rd is Christmas in Europe. That would be fun. And that's what I'm going to just miss that. I will be there for Africa and Mediterranean. And then December 27th through 30th is Christmas in Australia and New Zealand. And I know that very well since that's where I went on my mission. So
there you go.
There'll be some international nativities, and this will be on the plaza outside the church office building from November 26th to the 31st
of December.
And there's a Christmas around the world display. This display showcases Christmas foods and traditions from different countries, and that's going from November 27th through the December 31st at the Family Search Library. So a lot of different places to do that. And of course, we've already talked about it. The giving machines. The giving machines are a big deal. So we're going to go buy a goat. You go buy whatever you want to get.
Buy whatever you want. We're not going to tell you.
Yeah. And then, of course, if you have the tickets, if you have them and you want to go, you Christmas with the Tabernacle Choir on Temple Square. It's a big deal this year. Always a big deal. Anyway. Lots of fun that way. And then if you want to watch them on BYU TV, you can watch last year's with Leah Salonga. So this year is with Michael Malakel and Leslie Nicole, which I'm not sure who either one of those people are.
They're Broadway.
They're Broadway people?
Yep.
All right. Well, anyway.
The Bell Choir.
So the Bell Choir is a big deal, except for it was canceled this year.
But I gotta think they're gonna do it again. No, are we?
No, they're not. They've shut it down. They're gonna do a spring concert.
Okay.
I talked to my mom, who of course is the sister of the director of that. She said my Aunt Leanna is definitely disappointed, but understands that they had to cancel it due to President Ballard's funeral. It was the same day as the funeral, I believe, or something like that. Something happened because of the funeral that they had to cancel the Bell Choir, which was just prior to Thanksgiving, and so they're just not redoing it. So it's just there's just too much in the schedule that they couldn't reschedule it. So
they'll just be that much more excited to do it in the springtime. So make sure you
So if you know someone in the Bell Choir, if you like that, send them a message of encouragement, because I'm sure they were happy to do it because it's a big deal to have President Ballard pass away and have his funeral. However, they worked all fall for that.
I can't imagine doing that. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard.
One time in high school, I was in a play, and the play actually ended up being the district was like, "You guys can't do that play. You can't put it on." And we're like, "Come on!"
What play was it? What play was it?
It's a show called Play It Again, Sam. It's based on it's a Woody Allen play, actually.
Oh, I know that one. Okay, yeah.
And so we were like,
content was it? They shut you down from content?
Yeah. Shut us down for content, and we're like, come on, we've been working on this for months. And the deal that they finally struck with it was we could invite family and friends for one night performing only. We couldn't open it up to other people. But we got to perform it one time. The Bell Choir didn't even get to perform one time.
Yeah, they did. it is sad, and though I've been to their rehearsals before, and they work really hard. They really do a good job, and the bell choir adds a lot to it. Hopefully, they'll be able to perform with the Tabernacle Choir, which sometimes they do, depending on kind of what's going on. They usually perform with the Tabernacle Choir at Christmas, but I don't know this year if they will or not.
You don't know.
So we'll have to find out.
Do. I bet they do, but you don't know.
But it probably won't be everything they were working on.
No.
They won't. They'll have.
No, they had a whole concert.
Yeah.
They're not going to, although I'd love the idea of them being like, and now we turn it over to the bell choir to do their entire concert. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
And I'm not trying to be insensitive to my aunt, but she's not young. But you know, she's just, it's amazing how she still gets up and just goes every year.
Yeah.
So, you know, but she's old enough that, like, I think, will this be her last one? Wouldn't that suck if this was the last Christmas concert and she wasn't able to do it? And anyway, you never know. I'm not saying this is her last, but
I can't believe you're telling her it's her last Christmas. Andrew, come on.
Aunt Leanna, I hope it's not your last.
Are you
Christmas.
the ghost of
I'm
Christmas
just saying.
Future? Spoiler alert.
I know. I'm a spoiler all over the place today. Anyway.
Also worth noting that music and the spoken word will not be held live on the 24th of December or on the 31st of December, because those are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, respectively.
Are you guys doing anything interesting in your church on Christmas Eve? Or
going for an hour.
Just going?
Just going.
You don't know if they're going to be like a
there'll be
program?
music, I'm sure, and I think the bishop will speak. That's how.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. I'm singing, another group is singing, and the bishop will speak, and then he's like, and then that's the whole thing. So
we'll go be with our families. A shift in a news article. This came out this last week. Former member of the Faith's presiding bishopric to retire December 1st. This, of course, is Keith McMullin. He has been the CEO of DMC, which is Deseret Management Corporation, and they announced that my old boss, Jeff Simpson, when I was working at the BYU Broadcasting, he will now step into Keith McMullin's position. And as I understand it, he is going to be the CEO of Deseret Management Corporation and continue to be the managing director of BYU Broadcasting.
Wow.
So
was he good to work with?
Yeah, he was all right. I mean, here's what I got to know about him. He came in and changed up a bunch of things, and I said, no, thanks, I'm out.
So you didn't really spend too much time there.
I mean, so
he's not going to make you the general podcaster for the church?
Yeah, no, he will not be doing that. He had an opportunity to do something even adjacent to that, and he decided not to do that. So I'm not sure how really involved he was in the day-to-day on that kind of stuff, but came in like a lot of CEOs do and go, what's the situation like right here? I'm going to change this up. And so, you know, you may see some of those there at Deseret Management Corporation. That's, of course, the Deseret News and the Deseret Magazine. That is KSL and its affiliate broadcasters, radio stations, not only in Utah, but along the West Coast and in the Intermountain West. So interesting to see that's gone on. Elder McMullin, Bishop McMullin, 81 years old. So they're like, good, take a break, Keith. Enjoy those later years. And I think Jeff Simpson probably somewhere between 50 and 60 years old. So a lot of youth in that position for a long time. So where would you like to go next with these news stories?
I'm going to bring it back to Christmas stuff.
All
the
right,
annual
fine.
Light the World initiative.
Okay.
So that's been running this year. There has a new theme. Can you guess what the theme is? Oh, you already know it.
It's the
theme
song,
is da 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 da. You know, let your light shine
from the 60s, right? Let your light shine.
Oh, no, that's not. That's Aquarius. Let the sun shine in. But, okay, you can change the words that way.
It's from Forrest Gump.
Yeah, it's from Forrest Gump, not Hair, not the musical where they get naked on stage.
No. The church has adopted the theme song from the musical Hair as their Light the World.
Wouldn't that be quite the different? Anyway, so Let Your Light Shine is it's typically in the past has been like this daily initiative. They're kind of taking a different spin on it this year, where it's not like a daily thing. I think you can still get your daily updates if you would like to sign up for them. You can do it through WhatsApp, by the way, if you want to, and also through text. So if you go to the website for the Let Your Light for what the Light Your World, you can sign up for those, and they'll give you but then they kind of broaden it out, because some people maybe don't do it every day. Maybe it's a little taxing for them to feel like they can do something every day. So you can plan your month differently this year. So they give you a whole bunch of thoughts and options that you can choose. So I'm gonna click over to the Let Your Light, the Light the World site, and the theme this year is called Let Your Light Shine.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the show notes, but I just found it by searching it. President Nelson has a quick message. You can sign up for a weekly email. 50 ideas to share your light, shine a light on others, and then the 25 days of kindness from December 1st to Christmas Day. Things that you can share on social media, small acts of kindness about how you are letting your light shine. Letting your light shine in.
Should we do something on Culture Hall about that? Like where people can share what they're doing? Maybe.
I think that'd be a great idea. If you want to commit from December 1st
to
want me
to
Christmas
do it
Day, yeah, let's do it every day.
Okay.
You take this.
I'll do a post every day. I do it already post. Anyway with my own stuff. I'll do something with yours too.
7 a.m. every day, 1st of December till Christmas. Hey, this is the thing for today, and share it. You are now.
So you listeners, start thinking in your head. I'll put some ideas out there. I might share some things that I'm doing, or if you have anything, contact at theculturalhall.com, or message us on Facebook. If you have something you've done in the past or you're doing in the future, I'd love to take that into consideration as I'm putting these together. Any idea? 25 days of this is going to take me, and I need a lot of help. So please provide some help for me, and I'll post every day about it, and we can have some really good conversations.
Well, and here's the cool thing. Like, if you don't even want to make it that hard on yourself, on this site that I found, which you can find a link in the show notes, it has each of the daily prompts. So like December 1st, who needs your light today?
Oh, yes, but I'll use those prompts. But what I want is people to kind of share what they've done, or if they have different ideas, or what I want it to be is a daily conversation. Yeah, a daily conversation about this. That's what I want to build.
And then, there's great. This is awesome. Little quote. Cool. All right. So yeah, do that. You're in charge. Don't forget.
I will do it. I won't. I'll do it.
Otherwise, I will shame you so hard.
Oh, I'll totally do it. 7 a.m. every day.
Okay. And you can, the best part is if you want to do it in advance,
I know. You can just schedule it. I can pre-program it, but I'll be paying attention even if they're pre-programmed. So even if some of them are pre-programmed.
A couple quick things. The passing of Elder Ballard is the close of the 6th longest tenured quorum of 12 apostles in First Presidency in church history. They had all been together for 5 years, 7 months, and 13 days, 6th longest in church history. There was a time, I think, in the 20s that it was like 10 years and some change. So it's interesting to note that possibly with the calling of the next apostle, which people are saying, by the way, Mr. Mayor, that we won't have to wait until General Conference, because Elder Ballard passed so soon after this last General Conference. The thought is that we'll get a new apostle before the next General Conference.
But
we don't know. But we don't know.
Yeah,
certainly he won't be sustained until the next General Conference. But it's interesting to note a couple of things with that. One, that swings like the age of the apostleship, unless they decide to call, unless the Lord decides to call someone the same age as everyone else, 80s and 90s. It will skew the age 35 years younger than it was previously.
The
cumulative,
kind of like when Elder Bednar was called.
Yeah, exactly. The second thing is that this could be the first Gen X apostle, which I think is significant.
He's going to come in with a little long hair and going to buck the system.
Yeah. The joke
talk a lot about Three's Company in his talks.
The joke I made, of course, is that, or what will likely happen is we'll just forget about Gen X altogether and skip right to a millennial. But
that's right.
I think that's significant. It'd have to be someone that would be maybe one of the younger apostles in a good long time in order to be a Gen Xer, but possible. Like, that's where we're at. the age that Gen X apostles could be called.
Someone who listened to Nirvana, that would be,
right?
Yeah, that would be pretty cool
to have those. I mean, it's a long time coming, but when you think about an apostle being a digital native, I mean, that's
true. I mean, we're not quite there, but yeah.
No, that's forever away. That's
I mean, even me,
50 years away.
Personal computers came out when I was like 12.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, no, they had them before that. They had the PET.
But I mean,
Commodore 64.
Yeah. So I think that's sort of significant. Some people are like, the Lord will call whoever. Yes, I know, but it is significant because the things, it's just the same as like an apostle that lived through the Depression,
an
apostle who was born after the Depression. Both are qualified by whom they were called. Both have great life experiences, and we have things that are valued, right? But a society, a life, those that you're surrounded by are instructed by what you experience. And so when you say something like, it's an apostle who is a Gen Xer, it's an apostle who was born after the Cold War, it was, all of these things, their life experiences are different. Therefore, their perspective on life is different because of the things that they either did or didn't have to live through, and the age at which they were when that existed.
And I totally agree. Think of Revelation. Like if you look at Joseph Smith and you look at the majority of the revelations and you like what led up to them, they were often, if not always, because he was reading something or he was translating the Book of Mormon, and he went, hey, what about this priesthood? And then he went and asked about it. So, and that's the case with like blacks in the priesthood, and that you think about all the major revelations, they've all started from this question. So if they often start from questions, which I'm sure is they're inspired to ask the questions. I get that, but the types of questions someone who's Gen X might ask might be different than someone who lived through the civil rights movement or the Depression, or
Sure.
And I think that's how the Lord moves the church ahead, is that as new people come in, they ask different questions, because there's no way as mortals we can ever ask the right number of questions to get everything out until we move on to the next life and become, celestial ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So I love it. Maybe there's questions that Gen X would ask that had never been thought. We just see everyone thought was just settled before. That's not always the case.
Yeah,
right?
An interesting perspective is like President Nelson would have been my age during the civil rights movement.
Right.
And someone that could be called now as an apostle could be born after the main thrust of the civil rights movement. And so all of those questions, all of the discussions around the civil rights movement were never a consideration for that apostle who could be called. That is highly significant than someone who in their fourth decade of their life is seeing the transformation.
Well, if you think about let's just take the race and the priesthood idea, the civil rights, since we're talking about that. If you grew up during the civil rights movement, it was a very, very big deal. But if you grew up later, you just maybe don't think of it the same way. And so maybe you're not asking questions about that because to you it's settled. So you move on to something else. Maybe there's the way we treat homosexuals in the church. Maybe that's what maybe transgenderism, how we treat those people. Or maybe it's the idea of visitors welcome. And visitors welcome means everything that they bring. I mean, you know what I mean? You just don't know what that might look like from a different perspective. And so
yeah, significant. Interesting to note. And then also kind of adjacent to that is now Elder Holland, who seems to be feeling a lot better.
Yeah,
he's now the acting president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. So now it is President Holland.
Yeah, he seemed to struggle since April, and then all of a sudden President Ballard died and he got a second wind, it looks like.
Yeah. Yep. Those complications from COVID, and it has been announced, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in an upcoming temple ticker. He will be doing the dedication of the St. George Temple, which is significant.
Wow. That's great. Sounds like we got a little bit more Holland for a while.
I wish we could get a little bit more Oates. If we could get a little bit more Holland,
and a little bit more
oats.
Holland and Oaks.
And Oaks.
That's the next that's got to be the next First Presidency. Elder Oaks becomes President Oaks. Holland and Oaks.
Yeah. If someone could take the album cover of Hall and Oates and do a little Photoshop of Elder Holland and Elder
Oh man, that would be good.
That would do my heart so well.
Someone out there can do it. Do it now.
Photoshop folks, do it. All right, where do you want to go? We got happy news and we got about 10 more minutes, my friend.
We got 10 more minutes, huh?
Take me to the happy news.
Where am I at? Okay, the happy news. The Institute. President Nelson extends an invitation to enroll in Seminary Institute. So he didn't just like let your bishop say, "Hey guys, go do this." He went through it all out there, and he promised some blessings if you would enroll in Seminary Institute. So he said, here's what he said. He said students it'll help them solve problems in their lives and make decisions to find answers to their questions. So if you're looking to find that, enroll in Seminary and Institute, and also that you will feel a sense of belonging and increase in faith in Jesus Christ. Now, hopefully that's different than some experience in seminary when I was in high school. There were some times when I definitely didn't feel I belonged in there, but that was my own feeling. But he has promised that if he will be able to do that. So he's come out in a recorded message, or 2 recorded messages, that he has promised those blessings to you. So
I have thought about, because I'm only one class away from graduating from Institute, I think that they still kind of keep that record. I have thought about going back and taking that Institute class, because when I was about to graduate from Institute, it was when I was excommunicated from the church, and I think
you didn't finish it.
Well, I think I still took it, but they didn't give me credit for that class because I wasn't a member of the church. So I've thought about going back and doing that class and getting it. What I don't know is
maybe it's that one linchpin thing in your life that you've just everything else will fall together at the moment you do.
I've thought about it. I also have thought, I wonder if they actually keep the records, or if they'd be like, all right, guy that is not college age, I'm not sure what your motivation for being here is. But
it could be like me and my Eagle Scout. I'm working on getting my Eagle Scout award, even though no one will let me get it.
Sure.
I'm going to do it.
Sure. So there should be something that, like, not an eagle, but like a different kind of bird that like symbolically makes sense.
Phoenix. That's what I'm calling it. The Phoenix Award. Maybe I should do it for all the Culture Hall people. It's just like the Phoenix Award for the Culture Hall.
Done.
I've got it all lined up. I'm happy to do it. Why don't I? Yeah. In January, I promise.
Yeah, why don't you get through Christmas first? We'll see how Christmas goes.
Yeah, Andrew. In January, I'll start, and I was going to post about it anyway. Might as well post about it on the Cultural Hall. And if anyone else wants to follow me and do the Adult Eagle or the Phoenix Award, because you're resurrecting, you're
rising from the dust, rising from the ash.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So,
I thought that this was sort of interesting. This is sort of a happy-ish story. BYU football maybe going to go to a bowl. Yeah. Sure didn't play as good in the Big 12 as we thought that they might, but they have a Jewish quarterback. Did you know this?
I did when I read the article.
Jake Retzloff transferred to BYU during the offseason. He is one of 5 Jews, 5 at BYU. There are 3 undergraduate and 2 graduate Jewish individuals who attend the BYU. He has received such nicknames as the Hucking Hebrew, but he prefers BY Jew. That's what he loves his nickname to be. He is the BY Jew. And
I thought it was the rock star of David. That's what the headline says.
Well, I like BY Jew a little bit better.
I like BY Jew too.
These are the nicknames.
Even though by saying it, it makes me cringe a little. But if he likes it, I'll take it.
It's okay because he said now college football plays on Saturday, the Jewish folks' Shabbat or Sabbath or day of rest, right? From sunset on Friday to sunset on Saturday. He said, I'm making the choice to play football, so he's not as orthodox as all that, but does wear a Star of David.
That's great. That's cool.
Jake Retzlaff. I thought that was interesting. Interesting to note all over the place, because yes, the title of the BYU Jew, I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable.
It would be awesome if you could interview him on that. I would really like to know more about him and hear his point of view.
Done. He's got not much going on now.
Done.
Football season.
We got it.
And then the other part of it is interesting to note that of the 30,000+ people who attend BYU, 5 who identify as Jews. I think that's...
Well, I mean, how many other religions? I mean, like what percent of other religions are there?
I mean, anyway, so here's the deal. I mean, at most, because good point, 98% of BYU is LDS.
So we're talking 2%.
Yeah, so it's in the 2%, right? So if it's, let's say for sake of numbers, let's say they have 33,000, so 3,300 times 3,300, it would be 10%. So 5% would be 1,650. So then, you're looking at a good like 700 or less to be that 2%. So 5 of those
600.
Yeah, 5 of those 600.
Yeah,
are Jews. I wonder what the other folks are. I would imagine probably some form of Christianity. I would imagine probably not that many declared atheists.
So it looks like it's 0.8333333333. Anyway, a percent is Jewish at BYU.
0.8
of it's 0.8 of the non.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So not even 1%. Interesting. It would be interesting to find out who and what those other individuals are. Other happy news. We got like 5 minutes. Where do you want to go?
I don't have anything. I think I'm lost. What do you have left?
I sent you the things. I sent you all the things.
I looked at them. You had the media.
You didn't look at all the things.
The
Here's
seminary.
What I think is cool. Let's make a quick mention to this. There's a podcast called Strive. This is from a woman who attended BYU Idaho. Abby Harding is her name. It is a podcast, fairly new. It is, according to the Strive podcast, dedicated to helping women strive to become the best versions of themselves by relying on Jesus Christ and uniting with other women. So if you're looking to support a new up-and-coming podcast, it's called Strive, and you can check that out. That wherever you get the Cultural Hall.
Is it like the Strive to aim to help women become like the classic good Mormon woman, like getting married?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I thought this was cool because we see more and more of this. President Freeman, that is Emily Bell Freeman, former guest of the Cultural Hall, and Sister J. Annette Dennis, the first counselor in the Relief Society, went on a 10-day sort of like mission companion tour through West Africa, visiting places like Sierra Leone. They were able.
Did she get her scooter out and scoot around just to? Because don't you remember she had that talk about scooter because she hurt her knee, whatever. Anyway, sorry, that was really bad. Never mind.
They went to Accra, Ghana as well, attended a mosque, visited in Freetown, and helped out with the child nutrition program, and introduced the church membership worldwide as to what that actually is. It's a program that provides malnutrition screening and monitoring as well as education. I think it's super cool because I don't remember in our past that we would see these sisters going and doing this, because as I understand, obviously their husbands are there with them, but it's not like President Freeman is joining Elder Oaks as he goes on this tour. It is these two women, and they are going and doing this. I think that's significant.
That's awesome.
And happy news worth sharing. I thought this was cool as well. Oftentimes you've heard us be critical of the church here in the Cultural Hall.
The water conservation?
About the water conservation at our chapel.
See, I did read them. I just forgot.
So when I asked you about them and you said, what? No, I don't have any more. Where was that?
It was there. I just forgot.
Come on, Mr. Mayor.
Anyway, yeah, but you're right. So the water conservation, the program revolves around reducing lawns. But me and you have discussed this where we walk by. I mean, it's frustrating when you take like you're on drought restrictions and you walk by the church and it's like blaring with water. So they've done a lot to reduce lawns in general in a lot of churches, improving irrigation systems, and so you're not losing water when they do water. So they've adding drought tolerant plants, native plants from around the building. They're moving more towards. So they actually have a program in place to do that. I couldn't see if they talked about temples, because I think that's a big one. That's one we've talked about in the past. It seems like the temples tend to use, and this is just anecdotal, but it does seem like the temples use a lot of extra water. And I hope that this reaches out to temples that in their prospective environment, they're going to use native plants and more drought tolerant plants, all that. But I mean, everyone wants the green grass for their temple pictures, right? But it's sometimes not always the best thing for everyone.
Well, and I think it's just societal, right? We've sort of associated like well kept with a green grass with a, that's beauty in a picture. And it just really has to be a thing that we have to change in our minds about having a lot of grass. It's interesting to note new chapels that are built, 35% of the area can be lawns at new meeting houses. The rest is covered with mulch, plants, trees, etc. So
that's better than 100%, like the old.
Right. This particular program, it's 6 chapels, one in Ogden, one in Castledale, which is down in Emery County, sort of in the desert of Utah, one in Salt Lake, and a few other places. What they have done is they went to the church and they said, we're going to try these different principles to change out these different landscapings, whatever, and then they're going to see how they apply. So it's a pilot program that's been going on. Great results. People have liked it. And I think it's incredible because when we look at trying to make a change, this isn't an issue for the church everywhere, but certainly here in the state of Utah and in the West, where water is becoming increasingly harder to come by and droughts every year and all of the things, even though we were blessed with snow last year, is the idea that so many people take their nod of what's important for them from the church. And so when the church says, hey, this is important and we're incurring the costs and we're going to change some things, I think that it makes individuals also go, hey, the church did that. Why did they do that? Oh, they believe
there's a lot of
sustainable,
things like that.
And then they can bring it home. Or, just the educational part of it, or just even the consideration, like people had never thought to even do something like that. So they decided to do it because the church.
There's a lot of people who resist this kind of stuff until the church does it, just because they don't see a big problem until the church sees the problem. And I'm not trying to be negative about that. People have other things going on. So they look to something like the church. And even though that's not the church's technical role to do that, they have influence. And so I'm grateful to see them taking that influence in a positive route here.
Yeah. Then the last happy news article, then we're going to take a break, and it's all heavy news in the third block. Is the giving machines. Giving machines. Marie Osmond helping to tell people about the giving machines. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He was featured in the video. Yeah, he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, he's featured in a video. Everyone loves Donna Kelce, Travis Kelce's mom. She's helping to get the word out about the giving machines. Andy Reid and Sister Reid, Tammy, helping to say, "Hey guys, this is the thing. Give to these giving machines."
And we're gonna get a goat.
Yep, on the 16th of December when you're here,
we're gonna buy a goat.
Now, here's the question: we don't get to determine, but as you put your,
will it be on the 14th or the 15th?
Yeah,
not the 6th, because the 16th is the wedding. I'm not missing that.
Okay, fine. I was hoping you'd miss the wedding for me, but that's cool.
Whatever.
I hope that we will determine beforehand. Like, I think that I'm buying the head of the goat, even though you don't get to distinguish with the giving machine. So are you all right with giving the tail end of the goat?
Yeah, I'll get the butt.
Yeah. The old butt goat himself, Mr. Mayor. Thanks for joining me for these happy articles of news.